why not go on a silly adventure dressed as an elf with a monk, a cum goblin, and a pirate? There's been two topics that have been on my mind lately. First, being the portfolio that I've been working on. I don't know how long it's been. I'm trapped in eternal damnation and I hate everything. And the second one being the concept of doing side quests, which the term of side quests has been very popular. I've seen it around a lot more, but I actually really love this concept because that's how I like to view the silly things that I do in my day-to-day life. I'm someone who struggles with a lot of things, like just struggle with eating and sleeping and taking care of myself properly. So framing something as like a side quest make everything seem more fun and more silly. It feels like you're actually making progress. Let me tell you about a side quest that I went on recently, which was fucking insane. And I hated myself doing it, but it was kind of fun. My partner's brother, let's call him the monk, he wanted our friend group to go on a magical adventure dressed as a monk, a pirate, a cum goblin, and an elf, which was me. I was the elf. The thing is, I knew that they wanted to go on this hike. It was called The Hike, or Die Wanderung in German. And the hike was as much of a magical anime adventure as you could have guessed. So imagine, the monk, the pirate, the cum goblin, and me, we are setting off on our journey. And I actually didn't know we were gonna dress up until the morning of the hike. So I was like, okay, sure. The route that we will be taking surely won't be that bad, because if we're dressing up, like that dude is gonna show up wearing like a fucking robe like this, then we're not going to be going on like a very difficult trail. And the route that we had planned was like just a 3-hour walk. So, you know, I dressed up, I had like a long skirt on, I had a little bit of elven makeup on, I had my ears on, and I had my trusty ukulele with me, and a jacket that was way too warm, but also warm enough for later on, because this 3-hour hike turned out to be an 8-hour adventure, right until the fucking dusk. And beyond that, it was very dark when I returned. Yeah, I was actually going insane because an hour in, we were trekking through muddy private fields from some farmers. We were like in the outskirts of the city. I didn't know what route we were actually taking, but the monk didn't want to go on the road. He wanted to have like more of a nature path, which we would have gotten on one if we just stuck to the path and actually reached the part of the hike that was supposed to be in a forest, which much later on we actually got there. But they they also kept like taking like 40-minute breaks to also film a video, which I don't know if that video is out yet. I was like directing them a little bit because I enjoy the artistic process of, you know, making videos and stuff, and that was fun. At that point, I was vibing. I had my ukulele. The thing is that suddenly, like, we were an hour in and we made this much progress from our road that we were supposed to be taking. So one of our friends, he wasn't dressed up or anything. He just kind of showed up at one point and then left at the right time, which, you know, I should have left just then. At one point we were in a restaurant eating food, and then we finally reached the forest, but at that point it was already dark. I was just thinking, fuck this stupid baka chungus life. What the fuck am I doing? Dressing up as an elf together with a monk, the cum goblin, and a pirate in the middle of a forest with my ukulele on my back. What the fuck am I doing? What am I doing? The answer is side quests. What I was actually supposed to be doing is order some keychains for my art market, but I went on a side quest and I said yes to a side quest, which the way we went about it was not ideal, but it was fun. It makes for a good YouTube video. That was just one example of how side quests can go. The kind of side quests that I would like to advocate for. Let's break it down. So there are daily side quests that you can do, but there's also like one-time side quests. Those are like the kind of other side quests you can go on. Let's just talk about the daily side quests first. The kind of daily side quests that I have I learn guitar, do art, and I learn Japanese. 毎日日本語勉強しています。So I do these things every day. And what motivates me to keep going, because every day sounds kind of like a lot. I have a habit tracker app, which the one that I use is called Better You. It's free. It's like just a row of dots, and every day I just cross off the dots. The rules that I set for myself, you can of course have it a bit differently. But as long as I do just a little bit, that counts. That is it. And that keeps my streak going. If I just don't have any energy left, just like doodling something, just getting an idea out, whatever. It counts, because I'm keeping the muscle and the brain neurons alive. The synapses, they're sparking. Because the goal is not to be practicing guitar for 5 hours a day so you can be the master of everything. But the goal is to just keep yourself active and keep yourself activated. Because speaking as a depressed person, I still feel accomplished doing these things and seeing my streak. Let me show you my streak. 53 days of playing guitar every day, 251 days of doing art every day, 124 days of getting fresh air every day, 222 days of learning Japanese every day, and I think compared to where I started, I made considerable progress on most of these. I think sometimes it's good to appreciate the little efforts that you make, and my motivator in life is like a little bit every day, and those efforts will pay off. Just wanted to advocate for going on side quests, even if it's like random, I don't know, like just sword fighting. Sword fighting is cool. Like if you just sword fight a little bit every day, who cares? Then you get some dexterity, you get to look very cool wielding a sword. I don't know. I mean, you can do all those kinds of things. Learning a language adds so much enrichment to your life. Speaking of enrichment, the other kind of side quests that you can go on are those one-off things. You have the opportunity to say yes to it, and it ends up being something worth thinking back on. Because you said yes to an opportunity that gave you an experience and something worth to learn. That story I told you about earlier, about the hike, I learned that I should really respect my own boundaries and just leave when it's time. But maybe if I didn't go on that magical fuck-ass adventure, I wouldn't have learned that lesson. I don't know. Also, just other examples. I started going to guitar lessons. It's just another way for me to keep sticking to my own daily side quests. And then I started going to a choir, a Japanese choir actually, that helps me learn Japanese, sing, it helps me better my voice, it helps me be more mindful. And then there's also the one-off ones is, for example, I've done a flea market recently. That was the first time for me. It was fine, and I didn't really end up selling a lot at the flea market, but I did start selling stuff online, and I ended up selling like a good chunk of what I was willing to let go of. I just realized that saying yes to all of these opportunities have led for me to live a much fuller life. Like when you're just busy learning something and improving upon something, it makes you feel a lot more accomplished compared to just doing side quests maybe like in a video game. If you're playing a video game, you can 100% that shit, but you'll be left with not more than what is on your screen. And what I want to advocate for from one gamer to another is to take those side quests, to take all the energy you put into those kinds of things and put it into something that challenges you in real life as well. That is a radical kind of self-care when you allow yourself to be challenged and to stick to something. Sticking to something is very difficult if you're depressed as fuck and you're struggling to get out of bed. Even if you just do a little bit every day, pat yourself on the shoulder like this, because you've done something. You've done something! Because in just a year's time, how much better are you going to get at the thing you set out to do just starting today? Let me know what kind of side quests you are currently going on or you have planned. Life is silly. Life is incredibly difficult sometimes. Why not go on a silly adventure dressed as an elf with a monk, a cum goblin, and a pirate? See you in the next one.